Hey guys, it's Keelan with All Season Gardening, and today I'm just going to show you guys what we got going on in the garden. I'm going to make this video, try to make it quick. It's kind of hot out today. So first off, I'm going to start with my watermelon that we got in the garden. And as you can see, this is all watermelon right here. And so we got about, I think, 5 or 6 plants. And the first one here is going to be what's called an orangelo. So it's actually a orange watermelon, and I think they're supposed to get close to 20 pounds, maybe even more. So first year growing these, and hopefully they turn out good. And then a more common watermelon that we have growing is a sugar baby. As you can see, we got one right there, and then we also got this one right here. And as you can see, it's got a pretty bright yellow spot under it. And then also, if you look here, you can see that the vine here where it's growing and the tendril there is about dried up. So, and then also it sounds pretty hollow, so that's some signs that it's pretty close to being ready to be picked. Some more sugar babies there. And we got 2 cantaloupe plants here. And so we got a cantaloupe there, and then you got a couple of cantaloupe right there. And so now we get going to the pumpkins that we have growing. The leaves are kind of droopy, and it's just probably just due to not having much rain this year. It's been a pretty hot summer. So we got a pumpkin there, and then got a couple in here. And so, since pumpkin are part of the squash family, they're prone to squash bugs eating them. And so, we had to spray quite a bit of neem oil to keep them under control, but I think we're good. And then now we're going to the cattle panel trellises that I built. I actually have a YouTube video on how to make one of these. And so what you see here is called a jelly melon. And then across from the jelly melon we have our cucumbers. Right there. Got another one hanging on the trellis there. And then if you go down here, everything else that you see here is going to be what's called a yard long bean. Or sometimes I think it's referred to as a Chinese long bean. And this variety, I believe, is I think it's a red violet, or maybe a violet yard long bean. But I'm actually growing these for a seed company. And as you can see here, this one's probably getting pretty close to be picked off and dried, so I can get the seeds off of it. And so get those ready for that company, and they'll buy the seeds from me per pound, and just depending on how much I'm able to produce determines the dollar amount. So something new, never grown before, and if I can make a little money off of it, that's great. Help cover the cost of these cattle panel trellises I made. And then if you go back here, have some more of the yard long beans. So you can see, and this is about a 25-foot row. And what I used to make it was just stuff that people weren't using or were going to throw away. So got these end pieces here. Those you usually see on the porch. And this first metal fencing that you see is actually a kennel. And so grandfather had it, and he wasn't going to use it anymore, and so I took it and put it on these end pieces for the beans to trellis up on. And then you see here I got some more fencing right here, and this was actually going to be thrown away. She didn't need it anymore, and it's like, well, I can use it. But of course I didn't have enough, so I ended up using some paracord, as you can see here. And I'm hoping I get some tall enough poles to weave in and out so I can make this a little bit more sturdier and have the beans grow up the poles and the rope there, and then use the rope to give it support for that top or that second fencing there. And then I got some 5-gallon bucket irrigation that I'm testing out here. All it is a bucket. You drill a hole in it, put your connections in it, and then get your hose and come on down. And you can see there's the soaker hose right there. Goes all the way down. It's a 50-foot hose, so it's double back to do the 25-foot row here. And then I got some borage here, just as a pollinator attractor. And then got my sunflowers, as you can see. I'm not getting any flowers just yet. And so just a quick note on sunflowers. They do need quite a bit of space in between them. So you can see this one is the biggest one. You know, I'm about 5'8", and it's probably about that height, and these are a little bit shorter. And so, but these three here, they're spaced closer together than that furthest one, and you can see the size difference. So sunflowers, they need space in between any more sunflowers, so keep that in mind. And then down here, so you can see, got some ground cherries. Now I didn't plant these this year. I had ground cherries in the garden last year, and I'm assuming obviously some of the fruit got left on the ground, and now I have all these ground cherries right here. So I've been picking some of them off and transplanting some, but not intentionally wanting that many ground cherries. Then I got some corn here, some more ground cherries that were from last year, and then I got a few more yard long beans. They're growing on these teepees here. Those seeds were planted just a couple weeks ago, and then what you see on the wall there, I think those were end of April, maybe beginning of May. And then the ones that you see on the cattle panel trellises, those were put in the ground at the beginning of April. So got quite a bit of those yard long beans. And then got my bell peppers here. See that one right there. And then got some tomato plants. And this one that you're looking at is actually a parent tomato plant. And these parents have just been producing like crazy, so they're looking a little rough. So they're probably getting to the end of their cycle right now, which they are supposedly an early maturing tomato plant, so it's to be expected. And then I have some beef steaks here. I need to prune these a little bit. Some of these bottom leaves are turning yellow. Got a decent sized one right there growing, but need to prune this up, give it a little fertilizer. We just had a really hot summer, not much rain, so it's kind of hard to keep everything watered. There's another beefsteak tomato plant. And the same thing with our squash and zucchini. They've been producing like crazy, but then again, we just haven't had much rain. And then also this year, I've actually staked up the squash plant to see how it works out, to kind of keep them off the ground. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's made it a lot more easier to look for pests and keep them under control. And then got our jalapenos here. Couple of plants there. But yeah, that's everything that we got going on in the garden. I'll keep you guys updated, and if anything else comes up, I'll let you guys know. See ya.